The first thing Hiro noticed about the apartment was the wallpaper. It was pale yellow, faded with age, patterned with small white flowers that curled into twisting vines. At first glance, it looked ordinary, cheap, forgettable, but the longer he stared, the more the vines seemed to tangle into shapes that almost resembled faces. Almost. The landlord had said the place was quiet, affordable, perfect for someone who wanted a fresh start. Hiro needed a fresh start. He had signed the papers without reading them. The first night, he dreamed of breathing. Not his own breathing, someone else's. Slow and wet, like air dragging through a throat that did not want to open. When he woke, the room was silent, but the wallpaper above his bed looked different. One of the flowers had peeled away slightly, curling outward like a fingernail. He told himself it had always been like that. Hiro worked at a small convenience store. Long hours, few customers. Perfect for someone who didn't want questions. Sometimes customers stared too long. An old woman once grabbed his wrist while I handed her change. "Have we met before?" she asked. Her eyes trembled. Hiro smiled politely. "I don't think so," but something inside him twisted, like a memory turning over in its sleep. That night, he dreamed again. He stood in the apartment hallway. The walls pulsed slowly, like lungs, breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. Breathing, something moved beneath the wallpaper, a long shape pressing outward, sliding, searching. He tried to scream, but the sound stuck in his throat. The shape stopped directly in front of him. Then the wallpaper split, and a human mouth pushed through. Skinless lips stretching, whispering, "You promised it." He woke with his hands around his own throat, fingers digging into flesh, as if trying to strangle someone else. The days began repeating. Not exactly the same, just wrong in small ways. The clock sometimes skipped minutes. The train arrived before he reached the station. Customers asked questions he remembered answering yesterday or tomorrow. Sometimes he caught his reflection in the store's security mirror and felt a moment of confusion. The man looking back seemed slightly delayed, smiling half a second too late. The wallpaper worsened. More peeling, more curling edges. At night, the flowers looked like open eyes, watching, waiting. Sometimes he woke to find pieces scattered across the floor, but he never remembered pulling them off. One evening, he found a stain behind a loose strip, dark brown, almost black, old. He touched it. The smell rose instantly, metallic, sweet, draughting. His stomach tightened. Something inside him whispered, "You know this smell." That night, the dreams changed. He was no longer alone. A child stood in the corner of the room, small, still, facing the wall. "Hello," Hiro said. The child didn't move. "I think you're in the wrong apartment." Slowly, the child turned. No face, just smooth skin stretched across where features should be, except for the mouth. Too wide, smiling. "You said it would stop hurting." He woke screaming, but the scream sounded familiar. too familiar, like something he had heard before, many times. The memories came in fragments. A rainy night, a crying voice, hands shaking. Please. A locked door, scratching sounds, begging. Then silence. Hiro stopped sleeping, but the dreams continued anyway. They leaked into the waking world. Sometimes the wallpaper moved in daylight. Subtle ripples, like something shifting behind it, waiting. One morning he found a handprint pressed into the wall from the inside. Small, child-sized, pushing outward, trying to escape. He tore the wallpaper open, violently, desperately, strips ripping, glue cracking, paper falling like dead leaves. Behind it was bare concrete, except for one section, a rectangular patch, different texture, sealed. His breathing grew shallow. His hands moved before he could think. Hammer, chisel, break, break. The wall opened. Dust fell outward, and with it a smell, old death, patient death. The kind that waits. Inside the hollow space were bones, small ones, carefully arranged by time. A skull tilted slightly to one side, as if listening, as if waiting. The memories returned all at once, not fragments, not dreams, truth. The child had been his sister, not by blood, just someone he had been told to watch, only for a few hours, their parents said. But she cried constantly, wouldn't stop, wouldn't sleep, wouldn't breathe quietly, days without rest, days without silence. The sound burrowed into his skull, endless, relentless, until something broke. He remembered locking the door, just for a little while, just until she stopped, just until the noise ended. But the silence came too easily, too completely panic, fear, hands shaking. No one must know, no one must ever know. The wall had been soft enough to open, easy enough to hide, easy enough to forget. Especially if forgetting was the only way to keep living. Hiro sat in front of the open wall for a long time. The apartment was quiet, truly quiet. For the first time, the wallpaper no longer moved. The flowers no longer watched. The breathing had stopped, because there was nothing left to hide. That night he slept peacefully. No dreams, no whispers, no faces. Morning light filled the room, soft and pale. He stood before the broken wall, before the bones, before the truth. I remember, he said quietly. The words felt heavy. Final tears came, not for forgiveness, not for hope. Those things belonged to other people, better people. Some acts could not be undone. Some stories did not deserve happy endings. He called the police, spoke calmly, clearly gave his address, explained everything. Then he sat down and waited. The apartment remained silent, empty. Still, when the officers arrived, Hiro did not resist, did not cry, did not beg. As they led him away, he glanced back once. The torn wallpaper hung loosely from the walls, motionless, lifeless, just paper. There were no faces anymore, no shapes, no breathing, only the truth, and the man who had chosen to forget it, until he couldn't. Hero lowered his eyes and walked forward, not toward redemption, but toward the weight he deserved. And for the first time in many years, his memories did not lie.